I've been clean for 3 years, and in this video I'm going to show you how to fix your brain with a system so that you can actually break free from PMO addiction once and for all. Now, breaking free can feel impossible because your brain treats it like a loss, like you're giving up something valuable. And most people never get past this stage, and that's exactly why they stay stuck in this endless cycle of streaks and relapses for their entire lives. But what if I told you that the same part of your brain that is keeping you addicted is also the key to setting you free? Here's something that you need to understand. Our brains isn't built for freedom. It's built for survival and comfort. So when you try to quit PMO, it doesn't see it as freedom, it sees it as pain. And that's why the resistance feels so strong. Your mind is fighting to protect the very pattern that is destroying you. And the thing is that trying to break free through willpower alone only makes the resistance stronger. That's why I spent years studying my own mind when I was addicted. I was failing, learning, and rebuilding until I created a system that finally worked for me and those I've shared it with. And now I'm going to share this system with you. But first, we need to start with the roots. And that takes me to part number 1. What's actually keeping you addicted? If you look at your addiction, you'll see that it's not just a bad habit. It's loop, a sequence your brain has linked to survival. So every time you're triggered through stress, exposure, or boredom, your brain just runs that loop again because it has learned that this behavior brings comfort. So it has become a solution for your brain. And that's not because you're weak. It's because your brain is wired to keep you comfortable. It's just doing its job, trying to help you survive. But when you finally realize that these behaviors are destroying you and you try to quit, that's when it takes a darker turn. It's like the loop starts to take on a life of its own and it's beginning to talk to you. You probably know exactly what I mean. You told yourself that you wouldn't do it again, but then there's this small voice whispering, just once more, this is the last time, no one will know. And that voice isn't you. It's what I call the parasite. It's the part of your brain that has learned to feed on short-term pleasure. And the more you obey it, the stronger it gets. You can try to fight it with willpower and maybe you'll win for a while, but that's only treating the symptoms. Because the parasite's real power isn't the craving itself, it's the belief that giving it up means losing something valuable. That illusion makes quitting feel like a sacrifice, like you're missing out and like you're in pain. Your brain hates that feeling and the parasite knows this. That's why after some time without giving in, you'll start to feel worse. Just think about it. You feel bad when you're not using and you feel even worse when you are. So after a little back and forth, the same thing happens again. You relapse. But here's the truth. You'll never break free until you deal with the parasite itself. And the only way to do that is to unwire it from your brain and rewire a new standard. One that helps you think greater than the lies of the parasite and greater than how you feel in that moment. Because that's the only way you'll ever see past the lies and finally take back control. Understanding what's keeping you addicted, it's one thing. Learning how to actually break it, that's something else entirely. And that brings me to part 2, turning urges into opportunities. Now, this doesn't happen overnight. And for most people who rely on willpower or just quick nofap advice, they eventually realize that their approach doesn't work long term because the parasite is patient. It will wait, it will hide, it will adapt, and it will strike whenever it sees an opening. So you will continue down the path of streaks and relapses and get to a place where you're just blaming yourself and setting your life up in such a way where you're literally hiding away from triggers to minimize the urges. I mean, you're trying to escape one prison just to get into the next one, but you need to realize that the solution resides in the urge. When most people feel an urge, their first reaction is panic. They think they did something wrong, they tense up, they fight it, they try to run from it, or they'll just give in right away. But here's what you need to understand. The urge isn't the enemy, it's an opportunity. It's the moment when the window to the addicted part of your mind opens, and if you play your cards right, you can use that opportunity to rewire your brain, to see past the lies of the parasite. This is where the Accountabilio System comes in. It's the system that I had to build for myself to finally break free from this addiction. And with gratitude, I can say that I've been clean for 3 years because of it. The system follows 4 steps: disrupt, unwire, rewire, and hardwire. The first step is disrupt. When the urge hit, you don't react. You pause, you breathe, you disrupt the loop, you take the unconscious and you make it conscious. You start journaling what's happening, what triggered it, how strong it feels, and that act alone breaks automation, because it literally means that you have to stop doing what you're doing to reflect upon what is happening right now, which gives us the possibility for the second step, which is unwire. Here you expose the parasite. You write down exactly what it's saying, all the excuses, all the rationalizations. You pull them out of your head and onto paper, and when you see them written down, you realize that they're not just tricks, they're not you, they're lies, and you can just see how pathetic it is. Then comes rewire. This is where you replace those lies with the truth. You remind yourself that freedom, it isn't sacrifice, it's power. You talk to yourself and list what you gain by not giving in. Clarity, control, confidence, peace. And every time you do this, your brain learns to recognize something new. That life without addiction is way better than life with. You basically learn to see the truth again, that this addiction is just a mental hijack. And finally, the last step is hardwire. This is where the repetition becomes transformation. You wire the addiction through repetition. You can wire freedom the same way. Every time you process the urge and reflect, you're building a new default. You're teaching your brain to handle the urges in a way that results you staying clean and living life in a free way. So the Accountabilio System isn't about fighting urges, it's about using them. Each urge becomes a rep and a chance to strengthen the part of your mind that chooses freedom. And when you do that over and over again, something changes. The urges don't scare you anymore. You start to see them as proof that your brain is healing. And when the parasite speaks, it just becomes laughable and pathetic. And that shift, that moment when what used to cause pain becomes proof of progression, that's when you will find lasting recovery. Now, you can do this. You can do it with just a pen and paper. I mean, that's how I started. But if you want to get started right away and you want the full system in a digital setup, I've spent a considerable amount of time to turn this into an app and a website that you can use right now. Just check the top link in the description or the comment section below. And listen, man, whether you use the app or a notebook, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you start, because when you do and you stay consistent long enough, something changes. You begin to feel a kind of peace you haven't felt in years. And that takes me to part number 3. The freedom after. And this is the most beautiful part, because the noise in your head, it starts to fade. You wake up clearer, more grounded. You stop chasing those fake highs and you start feeling real again. Because once you've gone through the pain, once you've faced the parasite head on, you realize something very powerful. That it was never about fighting the addiction. It was about remembering who you were before it. And that's the real freedom. When your mind stops craving, when your energy finally returns, when silence no longer feels empty but alive, you start to move through life differently. Your eyes meet people again, you're present, you're focused, and the things that once felt impossible now just feels like the next step, because you're no longer running from urges, you're no longer hiding from your life, you're running towards purpose. And that's when you realize, my brother, that you were never broken, you were just disconnected. And all of this was just the path back to yourself. Take care.